Hey y'all, the real Jimmy Roberts 1 here, and I wanted to start off by letting Ella Oso say hello. People have asked about her, and she's great. She's always down here at my feet. If I'm doing anything at the computer, rest assured she's down here. Now sometimes she's asleep, dreaming about chasing possums, but this is the most lovable dog. Hey baby. So, Secure Team Tyler released a video entitled, Update. Secure Team will return, where he apologizes for, quote, making a mistake. Now, I'm assuming he's referring to that now infamous misleading video he presented for a short time because, well, the other stuff has never really been any of our business anyway, now has it? Here's my take and stance. He got himself into an adverse personal situation out there that when certain people found out, they used the information to attack his YouTube channel work. Under duress, he made a bad decision and posted that one short-lived video. Now, where I'm from down here, we call that a brain fart. Now, after this, we may have trouble ever believing Tyler if he claims a van is parked outside with someone watching him. But that's not what Secure Team 10 is really about. Anyways, you know, Tyler somehow developed his channel into a portal of information and ideas that we would likely never otherwise know about. Now, people around the world see bizarre things and witness strange activity, take pictures and video of these things, and then send it to him. Man, that's a great gig he's got going on. But he created it. And folks, we need it. Now, Tyler himself has admitted he's not always right, but also that he's not always wrong either. But the most important thing here is that he provides a much needed venue, because I'm going to tell you right here and for the record, I don't completely trust MUFON, as well as other organizations dedicated to disclosure. Their survival is dependent on non-disclosure. Think about it. And Tyler once admitted very nonchalantly that if disclosure were to ever happen, he wouldn't be needed anymore. He'd just go back to work at McDonald's. You know, that statement actually made me feel pretty good about him. So, yeah, I'm going to forgive him and hope he gets back to doing what he does extremely well. Because we need that venue that is Secure Team 10. Now, I need to explain something. I see occasional comments where people accuse me of being just like all the rest by pandering for viewers and clicks. Hey, I didn't start this thing so that nobody would watch, right? In fact, that's why I'm monetized. Google didn't propagate my productions at all until I monetized. So, what if they suddenly disclose what I already know is true? That there was a civilization on Mars, all but wiped out by ancient war. Well, good. I want you to know that. Isn't that why I'm here, folks? YouTube is not my livelihood. It's just the venue I use. And it's been a good one for the most part. We've reached a lot of people. But look, I've been away from my computer, folks, okay? I've been outside. And to all the goobers and hairy-lipped girls from Simon Dance Channel who like to come over and attempt to berate me by saying things like, hey, this guy really needs to get a girlfriend soon. I'll tell you what, you need to talk to my wife about that. Now, hey, I'm taken. But hey, you know, thanks. I'm sure Simon Dan means well. He just doesn't know well. Not when it pertains to me. It's rubbish. So, why is the work that we do here different? Well, for one, I am not an image anomalist. I hate the term Mars or Moon anomaly hunter or Mars anomalies. In fact, through our work utilizing 3D stereoscopics, which includes size and distance gauging, we have and will continue to debunk the BS calls being made by these Mars anomaly heroes. For the most part, they are not helping. Now, I'm not saying they're all wrong, but too many instances can be eliminated by the work we're doing here, and they need to be. I've debunked or changed my own past mistakes now that we have better tools in which to work. I have zero desire to try and fool anybody. This, though, in no way changes the truth. If you're new here, or even if you're not, please allow just a few more minutes of your time and let me show you a few examples of what we've done here over the past few years. Perhaps you'll agree that we're onto something. Now, in our first big production, Planet Mars, It's Not Just a Rock, we were able to bring forth this river that was being hidden in this image, as well as a lot of other things you see going on. But it was this image that got a lot of attention, a lot of eyes on me. And that's basically when I found out pretty much what is stepping over the line. And this is okay. And yes, that is water, and it is flowing in that direction. Now, yes, changes were made to this only with brightness and contrast, but still people said, yeah, but you had to change the image. Well, guess what? Later on we discovered we didn't change it here. You see down below, there's the water there. Now, this is just shortly after that as we continue downstream. This is just the way that they put these images up on their archive site, and I pieced them together. You can see there's where the river down below kind of loops back around in that canyon area. And we followed this for, I say it's coming up around 20 miles. That is what the rover Curiosity has been following along the base of Mount Sharp. Here it is again, many, many, many Martian days or sols down the line. We could go all day showing you where the water is in the background. Sometimes it's masked, sometimes it's not. And a lot of times we will use these NavCam images now because they're not obfuscated as often, because they don't have the same resolution as those Mastcam images. But look, what we're looking at here, this is further downstream and a very possible dam and spillway. Now, you may find it hard to see here, but I'm telling you, we've looked at this in stereoscopic 3D and shown it, and we will be doing more of that, and it's just proof that this is exactly what we think it is. Now, here is a colorized version, and it's going to help you out a little bit. Now you can see there is the dammed up water, and down below passes through a spillway. Water churning, quite possibly. There's no doubt the water's being dammed up. And we even go to the trouble of doing side-by-side comparisons of Mastcam and NavCam imagery to show how in the Mastcam imagery, which most people look at more often, what they change to hide this stuff even more so. And I don't know how many times I've tried to show people that there's metal being exposed underneath all of this, but people think it's boring, you know, but hey, this is important. Oh, well, look at this freak. This is a big video. I think we called it They're Here, Giant Alien Craft in Our Solar System. So what happened was NASA digitized and then archived over 20,000 images from their Apollo program. These images were like 30 years old, and they made mistakes, not realizing things were in them that I would be able to find. You see? This is absolutely real, folks. One blogger did an article on me saying that I was too stupid to realize they didn't have Photoshop in 1972. These are the knuckleheads that I have to contend with. Now, we also did a breakdown of Saturn's moons, which I'm telling you, none of their moons are natural. They are all artificial. And this is one of Prometheus. We tried to show the 3D aspect of it. This is absolutely a machine. It is not a natural satellite. None of them are. Neither is this. You know, this production has done quite well, actually. I think we're probably close to 6 million views on it. But there's a lot of people that like to do nothing but come in and berate me. And you know, they would much rather believe that I have this fantastical mind as opposed to realizing the truth, and that is what we are being told about all this stuff is way, way more of a fantasy than the truth. All these objects I'm showing you here are supposed to be natural satellites. And one of the things you may have trouble believing when I tell you is our moon is not natural either. It is absolutely artificial. Now this one is quite incredible because, I'm just going through their archives and I say, hey, what's that? And I enlarged it. This is exactly the way they have it in their archive. They missed it, folks. This is a really big deal. Look, we know the source of the image. Only thing we don't have is a size reference. The news agencies, they wouldn't touch it. They told me it looked too real, it looked fake. I showed them where they could go get it, pull it down themselves. They said, it looks too real, we can't do it. What does that tell you? Really? What does that tell you? This isn't the stuff that gets propagated on Yahoo News and all that. No, what we end up getting is rover Curiosity sees something shiny on Mars. What is it? Or vampire coffin found on Mars. Stuff to make it look silly. Stuff like this, they will not touch it. It's the real deal. So am I. Take it or leave it. Keep making fun of me. Whatever. Your loss. I appreciate everyone that stuck around. Now check this out. We found more Apollo imagery with spacecraft. Now I hate to call it alien spacecraft, extraterrestrial spacecraft. I don't know where it's coming from. But this is stuff that they're not telling us about. No wonder so many of the astronauts are so tight-lipped. No wonder Neil Armstrong distanced himself from the space program for so many years. Didn't even want to talk about it until nearly his final days. So many stories of other spacecraft up there, some of which almost collided with one of the Apollo missions. I'm beginning to believe it. I think it's absolutely true. Some of these images we had to brighten up, adjust the exposure. Some of them we didn't. Look at this. I'm going to show you where there's some shots from telescopes now, powerful telescopes that are getting those same type craft in them. A whole fleet of them. What are they? Whose are they? Ill-fated Apollo 13 mission where they weren't actually able to land. Here's where we showed how they've basically put film over the actual images and rephotographed them to hide stuff. But you know what? They didn't get it all. There's 3 spacecraft here that are very obvious. Even with that film over them, you can see them. And those aren't ours. Whose is this? Somebody own up to these things. Do we want to know? Do they know? Does NASA know? Do the other space agencies know? Now my informant, we call him X-Man, alerted me to the fact this looks very much like one of Crow 777's thrusting spacecraft that he's caught on his telescope. But man, just look at this stuff. It's incredible. The news agencies will not touch it. And if that's not enough reason to call me an insaniac, there's my opinion on Comet 67P, Churyumov-Gerasimenko. And my opinion on that is the fact that it's not a comet. You see, all those, that's the same comet. And then we discover this, I don't know, drill, a couple of football fields long. Maybe it's a weapon, I don't know. But my point is, not only are there artificial pieces all over this thing, towers, whatnot, things protruding from the surface. The thing about this supposed comet is it is actually a transforming machine. It may be defunct. It may not be in operation anymore. That may be why the European Space Agency was allowed to go investigate this thing. We carefully looked this thing over, spent many hours on it. This is the one that really got people saying I was crazy. But you know what? We explained every bit of it. The hinges are there. The mechanical stops are there. The separation points, points of rotation. Look at this. It's all there. I'm sorry that I'm the one that has the mind that can see this right off the bat, but does it make me crazy? I may be. But let me tell you what, normal people rarely do anything worth a damn. I find it ironic that the largest number of nastygrams and hate mail that I've received for one single production is this one, the Rendlesham Forest Truth. Because my contention is that there was no UFO. The military was hiding something else. This was a cover. And my informant Bill, I stand by his words. I believe him. Go back and watch it. I'm sorry. I won't back down on it. But we always end back up on Mars because there's a lot of interest in the red planet. And I'm telling you, people, images like this show that these are not rocks lying around. We have obfuscated images, make it a little difficult to see, but this is a destroyed civilization. And we are repeatedly showing areas like this where they've missed, where you can see a fairly clear written language, very similar to what we have here on Earth. Here's just another example of that. This civilization experienced a genocide. And that is what is being investigated. They're hiding it from us very subtly. But there are just so many thousands of examples of pieces of machinery, buildings, whatever, protruding from the surface that's been unearthed a little, if you want to say. We get attacked by skeptics with the same type of reasoning. They attack other people who just show these supposed faces that they're finding, these images. That's not what's going on here, folks. That is not what you're seeing. I'm smarter than that. I will try to debunk those images because they make what I and a few others are doing look bad. Take a few more looks here, folks. This stuff is not my imagination, and it is not yours. We've checked every bit of this out carefully. These are archaeological ruins, plain and simple. One of my points is every now and then you'll see some little image on the news that looks like something. The NASA spokesman will explain it away, but you don't see all of this. I can hit them all day long and all night and the next day and the next with this stuff. I've got tons of it. I didn't find all of it. I discovered a lot of it, but I didn't find all of it, and I don't care who found it. All I know is I have it. My question is, are you looking at it? Are you really looking at it? And if you are you more interested in this than just being entertained? That's another concern of mine. Something else we've implemented recently is the use of stereoscopic 3D imagery. We've taught folks how to look at these images and see them in 3D, and it also allows us to have very accurate size and distance measurements. Here's a sample of something I published this last year that continues to go mostly unnoticed. Now here's another one I recently ran across. Most people would look at this and just bypass it. Are you going to? Look at that. How obvious could it be? Metal, other pieces of material, and look at this. Writing going right down the middle. Folks, we're seeing more and more of this. Are you going to keep ignoring it? You need to pass this along. This is irrefutable stuff, folks. Here's another image from that same Martian day. Look at that metal coming out from underneath the Martian dirt. What I'm trying to tell you is everything underneath this dirt in certain areas is nothing but metal. Look at this object, same Martian day. Look at that. All I did was put some contrast on it. You can see it without it. You are being brainwashed to think that it can't be.